What's up, idols? It's Cece Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Guys, it has been a while. First of all, Happy New Year. Last we talked, I went live and my boyfriend joined me for a face reveal. It's been 2 years of a little gatekeeping, but we're good. We felt like it was time. So you guys can check out that live I did if you missed that. He was a little nervous, but so far y'all have been so nice, especially the ones who tuned in and had positive questions for him and everything. I think it helped make him feel a lot more comfortable. Also, if you're a patron, I did last night just upload, what was that sentence order? I did last night. Last night I uploaded a vlog. Me and my boyfriend went out on a date. Basically, you know, it's just us hanging out, our chemistry, what we do, going out, holiday lights and all that stuff still out. So enjoy that if you're a patron. Click the link below if you want to become a patron. Also, we did just do an official hard launch on my Instagram, so follow me there if you haven't already. Again, thank you guys so much for being so nice and kind, and you know, he's reading some of the comments. He's like, they think I'm handsome. I do just want to say real quick, I pinned a comment on the Instagram post too, but I want to say it here because yeah, a lot of you guys have been worried about me keeping my relationship private, keeping it offline, all that stuff. But the way I see it, a few pictures here or there or the occasional video does not mean our privacy's gone. So far, you guys have met 3 of my exes, and none of them ended because of social media. It wasn't because of Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. If anything, after the last one, it helped me find out the truth about the relationship I was in. So that was a net gain. If I kept him completely offline, I don't think I would have ever found out that he was married and had a kid. So all I wanted to say is,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
We're good. You know, social media hasn't been detrimental to any of my relationships. Anyway, all that yapping aside, you clicked on this video for a reason, so let's get to it. I want to talk about the fact that our poor boy, BTS's Magne, has yet another stalker. We talked about this from the summer incident after he just got discharged from the military. When he got home, he found some bitch trying to get access to his apartment by typing in the code to get into his house. She was a woman in her 30s, a Chinese national, and she was just there trying to open his door. Luckily, she was arrested. I don't know what happened after that. We don't really have too many details on that. But again, there was another incident in October. A Korean woman in her 40s had trespassed in his parking lot, and she was lingering nearby, trying to get closer to his residence. And police referred her to prosecution for further potential charges. And then again in November, oh my God, there was a Japanese woman in her 50s who tried to also unlock the door at his residence. Now, on January 4th, starting the new year off with a bang, there's a Brazilian woman in her 30s who was in his parking lot throwing mail at his house. She has been accused of violating Korea's anti-stalking laws. You may be wondering, wait, what do you mean? It gets worse because last month in December, she was at his house twice. She was arrested both times. And because of that, Jungkook's team filed for a no contact order, a restraining order. And her revisit on January 4th means she violated that, which means the penalty and punishment and crime for her is gonna be much more severe, as it should be. So the good-ish news, I guess, is when you go to someone's house or for this order specifically, she was ordered to not go within 100 meters of him. Showing up at his house again on January 4th means she violated that, which means she's actually facing like prison time. So luckily the legal stakes have been raised in this latest stalking incident, but again, biddies keep going to his goddamn house. And we've talked a lot about stalking on my channel over the years, specifically stalking in Korea, because in the past, you know, in like 2019, when there were several cases that made headlines, there were very few strict punishments or deterrents to keep people from doing this. But lately, luckily, they're making these laws more strict. They're making the punishments more severe. Repeated unwanted approaches, and like in this case with Jungkook, doing so after a restraining order will get you arrested now. From what I hear though, it's not the easiest to obtain a restraining order in Korea, but Jungkook is a celebrity, so he does have access to resources the average civilian may not otherwise have access to. And privacy is important to all of us, of course, but when you're a celebrity, when you're BTS, everybody knows you. Everybody knows more about you. It's hard to maintain your privacy. And unfortunately, we keep seeing stuff like this happen. I mean, think about it. A Chinese person. So when you're, you know, a civilian, when you're just a normie, you don't have people know you on a global scale. Like in this case, he got someone from China stalking him, someone from Korea, someone from Japan, someone from Brazil. Can you imagine flying to a country, showing up to someone's house, and what do you expect? That they're just gonna fall in love with you, they're gonna thank you for coming, they're gonna confess to you like it's a K-drama?
좋아해요. 911. Officer, right there. FBI, come on in, fella.
And one of the reasons this is so scary is because another recent incident we talked about, I believe it was in November, when Nana from After School and Orange Caramel had her home broken into by some young intruder. And we talked about that case because the whole video I was just kind of going on a rant about how statistically men make life more dangerous on Earth. You know, hypothetically, if all men disappeared, crime would most likely go with it. Women do commit crime. I'm not saying women are saints, but it's at a much lower rate than a man. Anyway, this woman, Nana, and her mother were home, minding their business in what should be the safety of their own home, and someone broke in. Luckily for Nana and her mother, they were able to fend him off. Her mother did sustain pretty severe injuries. She was strangled, she lost consciousness, and she did have to go to the hospital. I don't know what happened to Nana, but we do know that the intruder, he had like a gash on his jaw, and he was arrested. He was charged with aggravated robbery and injury. What's crazy is after all this, right, when someone breaks into your home and disturbs your peace, puts your mother in the hospital, Nana was considering leniency, but it gets worse. This intruder, he's only known as Mr. A, because it's annoying how they get to keep their anonymity when you're a civilian, but when you're a celebrity accused of anything, that's blasted in every newspaper. Nobody reads newspapers. In every article online, it's all over social media. Anyway, he got like a laceration on his jaw. I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm not saying this for fact, but she must have had something sharp to defend herself and her mother, especially after her mother was and left unconscious, you know? So after all that, after you break into someone's home, you injure their mother, they were considering leniency with you. You countersue them and try to get them charged with attempted murder.
Oh!
Because yeah, that just happened on January 2nd.
He needs some milk!
How do you enter someone's home uninvited, commit several crimes, and then you want to sue the person who you just committed a crime against? And what sucks is, in South Korea specifically, self-defense laws are very tricky because they do exist to a degree. And initially, Mr. A confessed to everything he had done because what else are you gonna do? Like, you were in their home without permission. How else would you have gotten there unless you broke in? You know, like how do you even try to come up with any logical explanation for that? Oh, I was sleepwalking. I thought this was my house. Like, what? So anyway, he took back his confession. He reversed his statement. And on top of that, he's trying to get them charged with attempted murder. So this is what Nana's lawyers and her representatives, her team, said on her behalf. The perpetrator, without any sign of remorse, has filed a separate lawsuit against Nana, exploiting her status as a public figure to inflict secondary harm through inhumane actions. Our agency prioritizes the protection of our artists' rights and will pursue all possible civil and criminal legal measures against the perpetrator. We will continue to respond responsibly until our artist is no longer harmed. And what's crazy is even after all this, a few weeks later, Nana released her next album. Like, she didn't halt her activities, she's still pushing through with her career. Good as you should, girl. Queen shit. Not only did you defend your home, but you're still making money. You still got your career, everything's still going. So hopefully this goober is appropriately shamed, punished, and all that stuff. But yeah, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because imagine if any of these women who attempted to break into Jungkook's house actually successfully got inside. I don't imagine he would just welcome them in with open arms. There probably would be an altercation, someone would get hurt, and he might get blamed for that. Like I said, South Korea does have self-defense laws, but it's tricky. South Korea's self-defense law, the Criminal Act Article 21, allows force to prevent an impending, unjust infringement of legal interests, life, health, property, etc. If the force is reasonable, but courts interpret this narrowly, often denying claims if force seems excessive. If the situation escalates from a mutual fight, even if attacked first, or if the infringement wasn't truly unjust or immediate, making getting away the safest option. Key conditions are impending danger, unjust infringement, purpose of defense, and proportionality of force, with excessive force leading to potential punishment. Hence why this dude getting cut in his face, because they must have had a sharp weapon. By the way, that's something I forgot to mention. The intruder, Mr. A, came in with a weapon. So he didn't just come in swinging fists, like he had a weapon on him too. I don't know what type, probably not a gun, it's Korea, so I'm assuming he had like a knife as well. But yeah, that's worth noting. So this worries me because these girls just keep lining up and trying to break into his house. And unfortunately, at this trend, it feels like somebody's gonna succeed at some point. It's just a statistical inevitability. Like if every day someone tries to break into your house, eventually someone's gonna get in, versus somebody trying to break in once a year. You know, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm stupid. And I mean, we know Jungkook just finished military. He's a thick young man. He's healthy, he's active. And the women, well, one was in her 50s, one was in her 40s, two were in their 30s. I don't know how fit they are, how active or healthy they are. So I feel like depending on what type of force he may do to protect himself, he might be in serious trouble because they're like, oh, it's what is the word? They might deem whatever he would do as excessive force. And as you can imagine, the frustration builds up when these people keep doing this and keep trying to break into your house. Or the alternative could be true, that he knows all the things that could go wrong if he tries to defend himself physically, and he just chooses to do nothing and gets hurt as a result. So like, there's so much that could go wrong here. What sucks about self-defense laws in South Korea, what they always recommend first is to run away. Like, if you can, just run away.
Run.
Don't engage, run away.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So they say, like, in cases like this where you have to defend yourself in South Korea, the best thing they suggest you do is to avoid fighting altogether. Safest advice is to flee or de-escalate, as initiating or engaging in a fight makes self-defense recognition unlikely. And like we said with Nana's case, this intruder A had a gash on his face, a laceration, so a sharp object, a weapon, which can make her self-defense weirdly questionable. When again, she was in her house with her mom and this dude invited himself and tried to hurt them. But getting a sharp, so what she should have done according to law is just run out her own house, run away and call for help. You're allowed to have things like pepper spray for self-defense, but you're not allowed to have things like batons or knives. I'm not trying to say like the US is any sort of poster child for anything good, especially right now. But in most states, it is true and easier to prove self-defense if that person hit you first. Like, if you punch me and I attack you back, I'm defending myself because you initiated with me. In South Korea, that is not the case. If you retaliate after being hit, courts often see it as a mutual attack, not pure self-defense, making it hard to claim justification. Can you imagine you're in a scenario where somebody punches you and you punch them back and you're like, well, you gave into it, you contributed, you kept it going. That needs to change. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a Korean person. It's not my place, I should say, but like, that just seems like a common sense thing. If someone hits you and you hit them back, you're being blamed for that? You're supposed to just run away. Punch me, oh, I gotta get out of here.
She's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard.
So issues of self-defense have been a long-going, controversial, tricky topic in South Korea. Like, it's not like this is a problem people don't know or acknowledge or understand. Like, I first heard about this actually from one of my students. Because in my schools, unfortunately, I witnessed a lot of bullying as a teacher, and I never would encourage someone to hit you back, obviously. But when we talked about it and they asked me about being bullied, and I told them what, I grew up learning. If someone hits you, you hit them back. That's what we learned. My students, they're the ones who actually told me about this weird self-defense law in South Korea. So this is nothing new or not talked about. It's very well known, and it's a problem that's well understood. Right now, you got South Korea's president arguing for the fact that men suffering from baldness and hair loss is life-threatening and it's essential for survival. His words, not mine. While things like this are just the norm now. Get punched, run away. That's what you're supposed to do. There's actually this interesting article I saw in this from like the Seoul Law group back in the day. I'll link it below if you guys want to read up more on self-defense, because that is something you may need to know about if you plan to move to Korea or live in Korea or visit Korea. One of our biggest worries when traveling or moving to a new country is safety. It's natural to feel and need to look after oneself, but in many countries the laws may differ on who is in the wrong when it comes to self-defense. To avoid breaking the law in relation to self-defense, Seoul Law Group is here to guide you through this topic so you can travel and live in South Korea with total comfort. What is self-defense? Self-defense is the right to prevent violence through the use of counteracting such force with your own actions. However, this definition can raise many questions. What is the right level of self-defense one can use when looking after oneself? If one goes beyond that level, how is it seen by the law? What if the victim was the one who provoked the attack? Self-defense laws can be more complicated than they seem. And while the South Korean courts have established articles to clearly define self-defense scenarios, judges often view a situation differently. So yeah, obviously something like excessive force is a thing, like even in the States. It needs to be like... It can get tricky because people try to scapegoat that. They're like, oh, they broke in, so I killed them in self-defense. Like, obviously, it's flawed on all fronts. But it's just so ridiculous to me that in this case with Nana, because he broke into her house and she cut him, I don't know what other injuries he sustained, he's trying to get them in trouble with attempted murder. And let's just hope that these girls who keep stalking Jungkook's house are dragged through the mud and we can see a public example being made of them to try to dissuade other people from trying that. Like, I can't understand what you think is gonna happen if you just show up to his house. Like, what is wrong with you? All you're gonna do is either get yourself in trouble, get him in trouble, or one or both of y'all are gonna get hurt. Stay home. And I hate how some of these articles call them army and fans. An army broke it. That's not a fan. That is not a fan. No fan would do that to you. He's only been free from military since June, 7 months ago. And he's already had June stalker, October stalker, November stalker, December, January. What is happening? It is so scary how entitled people feel over other people's lives and the access you feel entitled to. Like, your access to them, you feel you're owed. Like, what? Anyway, yeah, I don't want to ramble too much about this because this seems to be like the never-ending story. A new stalker, and especially they're about to have a comeback. He's gonna be more busy, more in the news. Oh my God. I hope that all these people who have stalked him so far and trespassed to his property, I hope they are buried under the prison at this point. Though unfortunately, I think the only one facing actual serious penalties is the Brazilian national woman, because she violated 3 times and once after a restraining order. So, c'est la vie. So that is the end of the whole Jungkook stalker saga for now. That's the latest, but I do just want to give you guys a quick update because stuff's about to happen around me. Tomorrow, I am flying to the States to see my mom, because if you guys joined my live, I was kind of in a celebratory mood because my mom had to get open heart surgery. We knew this would happen for years. We knew every 6 months she gets a checkup. We knew it was coming. So every 6 months, you're still good for now, or it's getting worse, it's time to go under the knife. So that finally happened at the end of December 29th, right before New Year's. And I was a mess all day. I was nervous. I was just like glued to the phone waiting for any update. Luckily, everything's good. She does have to get like some sort of procedure where they have to make an incision in her thigh and like shock her heart or something, because it's still a little irregular with the beating. And she should be going home tomorrow, and I will be in the States with her while she recovers. I'm not sure what I'm doing after that. I'm either gonna be in Hong Kong with my boyfriend. I may go to Korea for a bit, catch up with the girlies. Hey Kayla, how you doing? Hey Gia. Or I might come back here. I'm not sure yet. I just have to see like how long I'm in the States. It should be about a month. So if I manage to squeeze out one more story time tomorrow before my flight, then you'll see this setup one more time. But after that, it may be a while before you see my usual setup, because we're taking the show on the road. Anyway, quick life update, plus the Jungkook stalker saga, and thank you guys so much for watching. Happy New Year's, the first upload of 2026. I hope this year is great for everyone. Let's be kind to each other. Let's stick in there. Let's lift, not divide, you know? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Annyeong.